There's nothing out there like it. There are hundreds of companies that are direct sales. There's one VidMe. There's nothing else out there. We are the only game in town that's doing what we're doing. That is awesome.
For anybody who's watching this, we're here. We're talking about VidMe today. That's why we're collaborating.
All right. We are live.
We are live.
Hey, Brad,
Hi,
how's it going?
Good. How you doing, Randy?
Doing great.
Yeah. Nice. Well, since this is our first time doing something together, which, by the way, I know we've had a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun trying to set this all up, particularly going live at the same time. But
right.
I want to do the intro. So, for my people, this is Randy Griffith. He is gamer background, IT background.
My background in network marketing. So I've been involved.
Network marketing. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So I've been involved in a few different platforms in the past and over the last 20 years. I was involved in a couple platforms that are more directly like direct sales type platforms. So, you have to sell products and stuff like that. So I'm past that now at this point because, selling those products and trying to get people to buy all this stuff, buy this vitamin. It's better than what you buy. I'm past that at this point. That's kind of an old business model.
More expensive by a third. Yeah.
Exactly. And it'll pay you to do it. Woohoo.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, so like you said, my IT background, so that's my job. That's my day-to-day job is still still have that job. And then I'm also a gamer. My main game is World of Warcraft, so I really love playing that. I still play it today. I've been playing it since it came out in 2014, and I also stream from World of Warcraft as well, which is kind of fun too. So
sorry, not to go too much off on a tangent because I'm not really in the gaming world. When you have a game like that, does your character or does your thing like build for all those years?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's been building for a decade plus.
It has been, yes. Well, okay, so actually, in World of Warcraft right now, they have different platforms. They have the retail platform, which is the one that's been ongoing since 2004, actually, I should say, since 2004. And then you have the new classic, which in essence, they went back to the original and now they started it over again. And that's what I'm playing right now. So that's been a lot of fun. So.
All right. Oh, before I forget, for anybody who's watching this, we're here. We're talking about VidMe today. That's why we're collaborating. So.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. What is your background? How did you get started? What do you do?
Well, most people know me from being in solar as Solar Coach Brad or being in solar for the last, decade and a half. I decided a couple months ago now, it still feels brand new, but I decided after all those years that I wanted to step away from solar. I was fortunate enough to be pretty deep into VidMe and the back end of VidMe, and that I decided that this is where I wanted to focus my energy and attention moving forward. I've decided, for a lot of reasons, I did a whole video on why I decided to move away from solar, but it was time to move on. It was just definitely time for a career shift. I wasn't happy with it. I was really kind of dreading each day, which, is not a good feeling in life to dread what you're doing every day. And I'm excited now for this. And I'm also in Vietnam right now. So I have a lot of sort of big changes going on in life. So we're here with my wife for a few months in Vietnam. We have a good friend out here who's been kind of begging us to come out for a few months. So I was like, okay, we were in a position to sort of pack up the house and just go. So, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Absolutely. Right.
One of the things that she said in one of her podcasts that really struck me, and which I think is really the most important thing when it comes down to it, she said, don't try to understand all the points. Don't try to be the expert in everything. She's like, talk about what really interests you. What excites you about this thing, right?
Right.
And you and I are both involved. We're doing podcasts. So I'll throw it out to you first. What gets your juices flowing? What is it man, this is what excites me about VidMe right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's three main points that I really like about VidMe and love about VidMe. It's just been because I have that network marketing background, and all three platforms that I was a part of were all direct sales. The traditional MLM, the direct sales, got to sell these products. That was, it was a good run. It was a good, I was on and off of that for over the past 20 years of my life. But what I'm excited about with VidMe is it's not direct sales.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Like, I don't have to go sell this vitamin to the, buy this vitamin or buy this energy drink. It's just a simple platform. I mean, it's, we're already, sharing videos on, a YouTube, or sharing content on Facebook, on Instagram, all the different platforms that are out there. And to me, it's simple. And that to me really excites me, because I'm not a huge sales guy, and I've realized that over my last 20 years. I'm like, man, these platforms, yeah, I can see people making some ton of money in those direct sales platforms, and I'm not going to knock them, 'cause honestly, they're great, but they just aren't for me anymore. Like, you're heavily sales. You got to focus on that product. You got to sell that product. And, if people aren't buying it, then, well, that's tough. You're not going to make any money. Right. So,
yeah.
So that excites me a lot.
I want to talk just about that point for a second, Randy.
Sure.
So I don't really have a lot of experience with direct sales, but in solar, there was a company that popped up called Power, Powur. Now, I'm not like saying they're good or bad or anything like that, but they actually had an MLM setup. Now, I thought that was very interesting for a solar company, right? It's like, so the whole idea was like, I could recruit you to the Power and be a sales rep for Power, right? And then anything you sell forever, I would get a certain percentage of your sales, right?
Sure.
But it wouldn't come out of your pocket. There was like a kitty, so there was like 30% of all the profits from everything either was broken up to the company or like the people who brought them in. Here was the problem with that. There was two giant steps there. The first giant step was like, I got to convince you to like now come and sell solar, right? Now, let's say you're already selling solar. That doesn't mean you know how to sell it, right? So my audience was basically limited to people who were selling solar, right? Or people looking for a career change. But it wasn't an easy career change. It wasn't just come on over, right? It was these two giant steps. It was like, come on over to this very niche industry. And there was a huge learning curve for solar. It was actually pretty massive, right?
Sure, yeah.
And I found the latter to be really preventatively or prohibitively large, because like I could recruit, like, because people knew me in the industry, I could recruit people all day long, but it didn't mean they knew how to sell. And it wasn't just selling. It was kind of like, because you were like your own little franchise, you were like operating your own little company, right? So it was really hard for most people to do that. Where the difference with that of VidMe is like the whole second layer of it is like gone, right? Like, you don't have to like, VidMe is just a video platform essentially, right? So it's like, you don't have to even be a content creator, which is the best part, right? It's like, someone can just come in and they don't, and instead of it being an MLM, which the lawyers explicitly made sure 100% this is not an MLM. Yeah. For anybody who thinks it's an MLM, all I want to say is this. If you think VidMe is an MLM, then you think Walmart is an MLM. You think Home Depot is an MLM. You think TikTok is an MLM. You think Spotify is an MLM. Why? Because we have the identical affiliate programs that they have, which basically means I refer Randy, I get a commission or a cut for that, right? You get an affiliate payment for that. The only
I got 1 point that I want to bring out. So about this whole like affiliate program MLM things. I have a membership with a car wash place. So we have a membership based car wash. You can go there like every day if you want to. And they have on one of their boom arms, before you actually enter into the car wash, on one of the boom arms it says, refer somebody for $15, go into your app and get your link. Yeah. That's an affiliate program. Are they an MLM? No, they're not.
Yeah. I think what happens though, Randy, is, as you know, probably maybe more than me, there's a lot of people who get burned and have these bad experiences. Anything they feel like, oh, you're going to get paid for referring someone, they think that's an MLM, but they don't realize, like, yeah, that was true in 2000, 25 years ago, right?
Right.
But like today, all these companies, all the top Fortune 500 companies, particularly all the outward facing ones that have social media and they want customers to come in, they all have affiliate programs. The difference between this and other affiliate programs is this one was made to be more lucrative. But okay. Right. So that was number one. So the one point you said was that
it's not direct sales. And you actually went Yep, and you actually went over the second one, which is you don't have to be a content creator. So you already
Okay,
covered
yeah,
that point. Yeah, exactly. So that was my second bullet point already, and we got that covered already. And then my last point is just the content in general that's going to be on here. Like, I know if you and I have been in probably multiple meetings at this point with the VidMe team, and we're seeing just some great content creators that are going to be coming out. I mean, the early content creators, the early adopters, and I mean, they're going to be talking about financial stuff. There's going to be some self-help, some spirituality, some fitness, entrepreneurship. They're even going to teach us, how to, share content and do whatever. I mean, there's going to be a lot of great content from them. And then we're going to have comedians come on. We're going to have, gamers come on. There's going to be just such a large amount of content. It's going to be content for everybody. And that is super exciting right there. So much content that you can't get access to, especially like even people that have those master classes that are out there that cost thousands of dollars, and you can get it on here for just your VidMe membership. That is incredible, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I think this is the point when you talk about the content creation, Randy, that this is one of the reasons, like when I first heard about this almost a year ago now, it was like, for example, like one of the content creators that's committed to the channel is the actual executive coach to the CEO of Coca-Cola. And like all these, she's an executive coach to these, to these top people, right?
Yeah.
So she's going to be talking basically like, hey, this is what I say to the CEO of Coca-Cola. Now I'm saying it to you, Randy. Normally I would charge moolah dollars. I mean, I don't know. Who knows how much you would charge for something like that, right?
Right.
But now, normally someone like that would sell that as a course, right? And $5,000, or you pay for the coaching program and it's expensive. She's going to be hosting that on VidMe as like a master class for people like you and me. But the nice thing is, it's not like we only get her content. We get her content and we get the masterclass content of all these other top creators. So I like the fact that it's like VidMe, it's going to have the other content. It's going to have the shorts. It's going to have the shorts and the reels and, eventually live streaming like this. For like the average Joes like us, like we just want to put something up, right? But it's also going to have this curated section of content that's, like you said, all these cool things, like different levels. I will say, like, for content creators, I'm going to say, like, one of my things that really gets me is, I mentioned this to you before, Randy, was like, I grew up in a family, I had musicians and stuff like that around me, and I've known many people in these fields. And particularly for like an artist, it's very difficult. Like, of Spotify giving you like a third of a penny per 1,000 views.
Right.
Like, you hear all these stories about record labels and how, sometimes like traditionally they're very predatory and all these other things. Hard it is for these people to make money, which is why you see so many people trying to go independent. But like, for many people, they don't know where to put their content and how to monetize it. So what happens is some of them will say, "Oh, support me on Patreon," or, here's my Kickstarter. Right. But for the majority of them, the people I know, they don't want to or won't do those things. They feel like they're begging people for money, right?
Sure.
And with VidMe, they can host their album. They can actually have a payment. So if they want to have some free songs, a whole album for download, with a payment portal built into it as no extra charge. It's all set up right there for them. So they can bring their audience to VidMe and actually make real money and say, hey, if you want to support me, check out this amazing platform where my music is hosted. I think stuff like that, like once musicians and people of that sort of like genre catch on, like what they can do with this, like I spoke to one guy of a different genre. He does like meditations and like spiritual stuff. And he has he's got a pretty big following.
Okay.
I don't know if this is your next point, but like when I started talking to him about the numbers he could make as a content creator, I was like, well, what's the size of your audience? How much money? He realized that he's right now, his main channel, I think he said his main channel was Instagram. I could be butchering that, but he does a lot. He said he does like, he's like everyone else. He's on all the main channels. He's on TikTok now. He's posting all the time. He's working really hard, right? But he's not really making much money, even though he's got this audience. And when I showed him the money he could make on this, it was like, basically, he's like, this will like every other thing he's doing, this one program, just being on VidMe could like 10x that. His 10x his income for real. So that was
easily.
Yeah, and he could have his courses on there, right? And if he wants to do coaching and other things, he could host that on there, host his payment portal through there. He really was like, when I met with him and another guy who was like both in the same fields together, they immediately like, there's nothing like this on the internet for people like us. So like, I thought that was really exciting. So I think that ties into like one of your other one of your other main points, right? You said the
Well,
third
actually,
one?
those are the three. So it was it's not direct sales, and
Not
then
direct
you don't
sales.
have to be a content creator, and the content, right? Those are my
Oh, the content.
3 points that really excite me about VidMe.
Okay, cool. I'll tell you the thing that really excites me, Randy. Like, I actually, the founder of the company and CEO, Mike Popovich, he's actually, I moved to Colorado a little over a year ago, and my wife sort of knew who he was, introduced me to him, and we became friends, like, over that time. It wasn't just the idea of the company, Randy. It was when I spoke to Mike, and he said this live, and he said he grew up in a family with single parent family, just his mother raising 7 children by herself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was working. You know, he tells these stories how he goes, Brad, I wasn't allowed to get sick. I was like, what? He goes, yeah, my mom was working. It's like she couldn't actually, she had to go to work. She goes, I wasn't allowed to get sick as a kid. He goes, I know it sounds really bad. He goes, I wasn't allowed to get sick. If I was sick, I still had to go to school and pretend I was okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because she couldn't afford to stay home, right? And, you know, and Mike has been very successful in different realms of business and life. And but he always said, he always had a dream that he could have a company that could have helped someone like his mother raising 7 kids alone. But what does that mean? Like, who is a mother that raises 7 kids alone? That's a woman that has no time. She has no extra energy.
No way.
Yeah, yeah. Like I look at like
That's a full-time job right there.
Yeah, I know you. You have your little one. How old is your little one, if you don't mind sharing?
She's almost 2. She actually just turned 23 months yesterday, so she's got 1 more month, and I can finally stop the months. So she'll be almost 2.
And you have 1 child, right?
1 child. That's it. Yep.
And it's 2-on-1, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's 2-on-1. I'm sure it's not even easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
can't imagine 7. No way.
7-on-1, right? The ratio.
Man.
Yeah.
You're playing zone defense at that point.
Yeah, I don't know what defense you could possibly play. Yeah.
Yeah, they're covering 7 kids. You're everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. You have like a net around the house to pull them in. Like, I don't know what you
Right.
did.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, he said, he goes, I always had a dream. This is what he told me. He goes, I always had a dream of starting a company that could help someone like my mom. Have life-changing results for someone like her.
Right.
And that's what got me, Randy. I was like, that's like a beautiful heart, right? Because like that's the type of person like I've always been. Like I've always wanted to help people. And when he said that to me, I was in a place where I was transitioning from being in solar, like doing sales and installation. You know, I did it like residentially, commercially. I did, some utility stuff. I did batteries, like battery backups.
Sure.
And I got into this place a few years ago where I started coaching and consulting. I wanted to help other people break into the industry, help companies, help people. And to be very honest, like I kind of failed in the coaching and stuff. And that sounds a little bit harsh, but what I mean was what I realized is kind of like I was talking about with the company power. It was really difficult, Randy, for people to come into an industry like solar, and the learning curve was quite steep. Right? They had to learn about the products, the materials, how everything works. They had to learn the financial mechanisms. And it was just it wasn't as easy. And like,
yeah.
And what I realized was like for the average person, it wasn't something the average person could just jump in out of nowhere and like hit the ground running, be successful. You know, and the truth is,
there's a lot to learn in that industry.
Yeah.
It's actually funny that that you got into solar, because like in high school that was I can't remember, I'm still trying to remember what class I did, but there was a particular class that I had in high school, and my research paper was on alternative energies.
That's cool.
one of my goals in life, like I haven't reached it yet, but I'm getting there. Is I definitely want my next house to actually have solar, because I feel like that's just it's a money saver. I think it's great. So
I had it
it's
on
just
my
it's
house.
funny.
I had it on my house. I didn't pay an electric bill for 7 years in my previous house. Like, I mean,
That's awesome.
and I ran
That's
the
awesome.
AC all the time. I had a swimming pool. You know what I mean? So like, I was using a lot of electricity. But when Mike told me this, to me it was like really striking, because I was like, man, I'm really trying to do the same thing. I want to help as many people. Like, I want to see my family members, people I know who are kind of stuck in that rat race, to give them a way to like get out of it. But it wasn't happening. So what I realized with VidMe, it was like basically providing that opportunity for the average person, for the single mother with 7 kids, to do that. And how does she do that, right? She does it by basically doing nothing different than what she does now. So like,
Right.
the classic is like, hey, single mother, do you ever share a video with your friends and family? Yeah, of course. Do people share it with you? Yeah, of course. Well,
Right.
when you share it with your friends and family, how much did Facebook or YouTube give you to share that?
Zero.
Right? What about the content creator? They surely paid you when you advertised for them for free. They surely paid you.
No.
Nothing.
No.
So when Mike and Chris came up with this concept that they would track who's sharing videos, and whoever leads back to the platform, because it's a membership platform, you get basically credit for those people forever, for perpetuity, as long as they stay on the platform. I was like,
Right.
oh, that's like anyone could do this. And
Absolutely.
then we looked at the numbers. I don't know if you want to talk about the numbers, like for that single mother, like how that works for the numbers. Because this is the part I was like, oh, this is real. This is legit. Like this is good.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we can definitely talk about the numbers, but I definitely want to, back your point on the helping people first, because that's huge for me as well. I just remember Mike Popovich talking about his dream in life has always been, he wanted to help 1 million people achieve financial freedom.
Yeah, which
And
is cool. That's like really
honestly,
cool. Yeah.
VidMe is the platform for that. I mean, I can truly see that being just a game changer for so many people out there. Like, and that's honestly one of my goals as well. I mean, now 1 million people, that's a little steep for my feeling, but I'd love to help at least 20, 30, 40 people achieve financial freedom. That would be incredible, right? Like that.
Right. That
would be
that would feel great,
awesome.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That would feel great. Yeah.
So that's one of my motivations. Like I want to see people succeed. I mean, and that's how I've always been in all the network marketing world. I just want to see people succeed in what they did, and I just never got that feeling in any platform before. This is the first time I have ever felt that truly helping people in VidMe is going to be a reality. I guarantee it. At this point, this is going to be the platform for people to be able to achieve that financial freedom very easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's, and we could talk about the numbers a little bit, but like,
sure. Yeah.
at that point, like what I realized, because remember I said, if someone came to me and was like, hey, do you want to be, check out this new social media thing? Like, I wouldn't care. Like, I just wouldn't, right?
Right.
What really got me was, this isn't just another social media company. This is a business opportunity. So like, to me, because I'm a nerd and I like to like analyze everything to death, like check out this exercise. I would like, Randy, I'm serious. Do this exercise. Do you use AI at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay. Anybody that uses AI, do this exercise. Go into whatever AI platform you're using, ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, whatever.
Sure,
Go in there and tell the AI, act as a financial expert that knows how to invest money, knows the best ways to like invest money and start a business or whatever, and say, I want to invest money and make as much money as possible with as little effort as possible. So it has to be passive or close to passive, where I can only do this a couple hours a week and make serious money. I want you to give me all the options available and put in a number. How much money do I need to invest and how much time do I need to spend to, let's say, make like 200 grand a year, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I did this. What came out is like, if I wanted to do that with like passively with like real estate, I would have to buy like a 5-decker, like a 5 family home for like,
Okay.
$800,000, put 30% down, right? Put
Right.
30% down because it's a commercial estate. And I still have to like either pay a building manager or manage a building, right? And then I can make over time my 200,000 in the right. That
Okay.
was up.
Yep.
That was one. So to me, it's like, so you got 30%, 800,000. So what's that? Like,
That's
a couple
a
hundred
very
grand.
it's a very high ceiling to have to make to be able to start that up.
That's not attainable for most people, right?
Oh
Then it
no.
was like, well, you could put it in the index fund in the stock market. Very little work, right? But then you have to put in like to make 200 grand, at 8% return year over year. It's like, well, you got to now have another massive amount of money, right? I forget
Yeah.
the number, but this was like, over $1 million. You got to have a massive amount of money to get that sort of annual return on it.
Sure.
Then I plugged in the numbers for VidMe, which was I got to pay the monthly fee, which is $35 a month. And if I shared it with just 2 people a month and they shared it with 2 a month, I could make the same amount of money.
Wow. That is crazy.
Yeah. That's why it was great. And like just asking the AI to do a financial analysis of this business model compared to other things. Like it's compared to like what I did in solar. It's like, how much work I did in solar? Like I worked really hard, like really, really hard.
I'm sure. How many hours did you work? I mean, honestly, think about
on
that.
average,
I mean,
like a light week, I would be pulling 40, most weeks 40, 50, 60 hours. And,
okay.
Always following up, dealing with the installation issue, following up with the next customer, dealing with problems, putting out fires all day, every day.
Yeah.
It was endless. It was endless. Like I had staff when I owned my own company, like dealing with the staff, like nonstop, people calling me, texting me, emailing me, 300 emails a day. It was just, it was a lot.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. And to be able to make similar money for the amount of effort and literally less than like a master class or whatever membership, or less than like some of like my other literally less than my old gym membership where I used to go to the gym. Yeah.
Right. That is crazy.
Yeah. So that's what really got me was that. And, and the way that can work is the way the affiliate program was set up, right? So the affiliate program.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So do you want to like talk? I think we should talk about that a little bit. So maybe close off because I don't want people to feel like, wait, this is all a mystery. Like how does this work? This was made. How does that single mother or the average Joe or my brother, the musician, how do they actually make money on this thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, you're it's a 2-tier affiliate program is what it is. So if you're familiar with any platforms, 2 tiers means people who refer people, right? And that's literally what the internet's all about. We're already sharing content, who's sharing content with sharing content. That's what the world is about, right? We're already doing that today, on social media, sharing content. And that just kind of dovetails. And that's honestly how a video goes viral, right? We always talk about this going viral. It's all about people sharing with people, sharing with people who share it with people. A video goes viral, 1 million views, 100 million views, however it's going to be.
Right.
Now, for the first time, you can actually go viral in VidMe and make a substantial income by doing that, right? So first and foremost, the first tier. So the people that you personally refer, everybody that you personally refer, you get 20% of what the VidMe membership is. So the VidMe membership is that $35 a month, $34.99 a month. And so what is that? What does that equate to? So 20% of 35, that's about $7 a month. Right. So that's just who you personally refer. So after you refer 5 people, you're already paying for your membership, which is awesome, right? I mean,
I like 7. It feels lucky.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Lucky number 7, right?
Yeah. And by the way, I just want to say one thing about that. Just that. I have a friend who married my wife and I in Nigeria, outside Lagos, Nigeria, in Africa.
Nice.
For people who don't know where Nigeria is on the globe, and he's been a pastor his whole life, but he told me about 2 years ago. He said, Brad, I'm really thinking about doing business stuff. I want to get involved in it. And I remember that, right? And him and I have stayed in touch over the years. We remained friends, right? Him and I were talking a couple months ago, and I was like, I'm doing this thing, VidMe, check it out. I know you've been looking at business opportunities. And he's like, Brad, I love this. He's like, because to him, it's like, he travels a lot. So he travels to many countries in Africa. he goes to England, he goes to the US, he goes other places, right? So his contact list on his phone, his contact list, like he probably has like 500 people that just be like, oh, you know,
Nice.
it's like this trusted person they've known for like their whole lives, right?
Right. There you go.
And like now he's got this amazing business thing. So it's like to him, now I'll tell you my thinking on this, because like this is something like $35 a month to where people are, the hyperinflation they have in Nigeria is nothing. It's not nothing, right? So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, now in the US we may say $35, like we can spend that like on lunch, right?
Right.
But like to someone like that, it's not nothing. So what I told him, I was like, okay, this is what I want you to do. You're just gonna like tell people about this, and before you sign up, before you do anything, send a message out to like a bunch of these people, and before your first month's ever due, before you pay anything, and it's not even live yet, so there's nothing to pay, but like before you even pay anything, what you'll be generating will be more than you're doing. And he did exactly that. So like even for someone like him, like $35 is not nothing. Like all he did was tell a few friends and tell a few people, and like I'm looking at like this, you know, you tracks all this in the back office, and like
Yep.
I'm seeing his back office grow. I'm like he's doing exactly what he said, and that's just first tier, right?
Exactly.
So like the first tier is 7. So yeah, I kind of cut you off. So like second
Well,
tier,
that's fine.
yeah.
Yeah. So the second tier. So again, you know, people referring people. So a second tier is, so all the people that you have personally referred, they refer somebody, right? So you get a 12% commission off of that, $35. So that's about that equates to about $4.20. So for each person they personally refer, people referring people.
Right. So basically, I refer my friend, the one who married me. Well, I didn't marry him, but you know what I mean.
Right. The other way around, yeah.
And he brings in one person, so that's $11 for me.
Yep, absolutely.
So if he
Yep.
brings in 2, it's $15 for me, right? And that's
Right.
what I was telling him. I was like, so the way the math works on that, if that's $15, right? If you just bring in 2 people and each of those bring in 2, that's $30.
Right.
Just for you. So you're saying you got to share with 5 people, but like my point to him was, well, if you should have 2 or share of 2, that's pretty much your membership almost paid for completely.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so simple, right?
Yeah, it is very simple. That's one thing you hear Mike say all the time. It's very simple. But what do they say? Like, you remember those old like info commercials? But wait, there's more. Right? Like, remember that? Was that
Yeah.
the info commercials? Right? Yeah.
I'm sure, oh, there are plenty of those out there. Absolutely.
Yeah. But wait, there's more, Randy. Yeah.
And wait, there's more. There's one more thing you can make money with as well, and that is once you personally refer 10 people. So you're tier 1, you're 10 people on tier 1. Now you get a 25% influencer bonus, which is based on what your tier 1 people make on their tier 1 and tier 2. So let's say you add somebody on your tier 1, you personally have referred somebody, and let's say they make $100 that month, right?
Yeah.
You know, they paid for their membership. They also get, you know, an extra $65 in their pocket. But then it comes back to you, and now you get 25% of that as well. So again, that person still gets their $100. They make what they make. That you're not tapping into their income, right? You get 25% of that personally for yourself, so you get another $25 as well.
Yeah. Which is crazy. And like, I think that ties into the world we're in where we have influencers. Like, I have one friend who's got 500,000 followers on Instagram. So, you know, he makes enough money to go to Chick-fil-A once or twice a month off that.
Right.
And, which again, I'm not knocking that, but it's just the truth of it. Right. And someone like him, if I bring him into VidMe, right? Someone like him, we're not talking hundreds, right? We're talking someone like him. If he brings in like, let's say 1% of that 5,000 people of 500,000, someone like him isn't making a few hundred. He's making over 10 grand a month plus on something like this.
Right.
So let's say someone like him is now making cool cash. Let's say if he's making a 6-figure income off the platform, I'm going to make, and as long as I have 10 people, I'm going to be making 20, so it's 25% right now.
25.
Yeah, it's 20. Yeah, no, it used to be 20, so now it's 25%. So we're in pre-launch, so things are still changing as we talk about these at times. So if he's making, you know, six figures, 25% of six figures is not nothing for just telling my friend who's already an influencer, hey, check out this cool thing, right?
Yeah, that's huge.
It is huge. The thing with influencers now, they look at that and they're like, well, I have six friends. I know a whole bunch of people who all have million, 500,000, 2 million, right? Because they, you know, people run in the same circles, right?
Absolutely. They know a lot of people that do the same thing. I mean, I've got gamer friends who know gamer friends, and they're all huge streamers, right? So again, that's
Remember back in the day, like we used to say do you remember 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon? Do you remember this? There was a game we used to play as kids. Maybe it was a drinking game. I don't remember, but it was like, it was like you could name any movie, and within 6 movies, you could find a movie that actor had been in a movie of Kevin Bacon. So
Sure.
6 degrees of separation, right?
Yeah.
But like, I don't think we have 6 degrees of separation anymore, Randy. I don't.
No.
I feel like with social media, because like I'll talk to someone, it's like, oh yeah, like I talk to Mike, and Mike's like, I'm in his house smoking a cigar with him, and he's like, yeah, I was in the Copperfield mansion with this billionaire last weekend in Vegas, and I'm like, okay, so I know Mike, and he knows these people, so it's like a 2 degrees of separation between me and this billionaire, right?
Right,
Who
right.
like doesn't know me from anything, and I don't know him from anything, but that's like the world we live in. It's like, it's shrunken down so much with like social media. It's like like I'm always surprised when I talk, because like I'll talk to people and they'll be like, well, I don't know, I don't do social media, I don't know anyone. I'm like, do your kids? So like they'll be like, oh yeah, my hairdresser's got a following on Instagram. It's like, there you go. It's
There
like
you go. Yeah,
everybody
that works.
knows someone who's like somehow involved in social media, directly or indirectly. It's like you don't have to go far anymore. It's like I talked to my friend in Texas. He's like, oh yeah, my wife, she's just getting an Instagram. I'm like, oh cool. He's like, yeah, but her friend's got 1 million followers on Instagram. It's like, there you go.
Right.
It's unbelievable how many, like, I just feel like we're like, whether it's 2 degrees or 3 degrees of separation in society anymore, we are not that, no one's far from anyone else like these
Right.
days. Yeah.
And I always want to make people, one thing that I've had questions about is like, well, I don't personally know any content creators. I'm like, don't worry about it. You know, again, like what you were saying, it's like people know people. And even at the end of the day, let's say you're promoting like crazy, you're talking to people, and honestly, you've got nobody that even in your sphere of influence for people you've talked to, people you've added to VidMe that aren't content creators. You can still make a ton of income here anyway. You don't need to have a content creator in your group at all, because that is the cool part about VidMe, is that both creators and members can earn income. And that is awesome. I love that.
Yeah, right. Because again, I just go back to the heart of it, which is, can the single mother of 7, this was made for her. This was made for her to have life-changing income, where she's just sharing videos, getting credit for that, and reaping the benefits for years to come.
Right.
Which is like, you know, like I remember, I'm like, we're old enough to remember things like the transition from like video stores and Blockbuster to Netflix, right?
Yeah.
So like, imagine like when that happened, like if I just told you about Netflix and I would get an affiliate program of $5 a month or $7 a month from Netflix from you or from my family forever, like that'd be pretty cool.
Right. Exactly. Getting early into those things are just that'd be an incredible experience to get early. And that's what we have right now. And that's why pre-launch is so exciting for a lot of people, because again, you get the opportunity to be ready for it before go live even hits. You know, not many people get that opportunity, right? You know, there could be people that come down, 2-3 years down the road, and the early adopters. You know, I mean, I can't remember. I thought I heard something about like, when Facebook first launched, like, and of course I'm blanking on his name. The main guy of Facebook, Zuckerberg brought invited like 5 of his friends, and only 2 of them came. And guess what? They're millionaires.
Right. Yeah. Not just millionaires. Like
multi-millionaires. Yeah, exactly. So,
well, I always think of that. Like, I think that's a good place to close on this, because like when I first heard about this, one of the things like I've probably in my life, maybe just 2 or 3 times in my entire life, I looked at something and I was like, well, that's a really great idea. It's definitely going to work. And The only other time I felt this confident was back in, I think it was the turn of the century, like 1999, 2000. I was building websites, and I realized back then I was like 19 at that time. Yeah. So like I didn't know anything about business. All I knew was like, oh, this is
Right.
cool. You can build a website. Hey, you're a restaurant. You should have a website, right?
Right.
I realized a friend of mine was explaining to me, he's like, dude, you could just buy domains. Like you could just buy a domain. You could buy Toyota.com or ESPN.com or CNN.com, whatever thing. You could just buy it because they hadn't caught on yet where like these major corporations were having websites and buying domains. It's like you could have, for like $5, you could have bought like Toyota.com, right? Or
Right.
like Walmart.com. And then like a couple years later, when those companies now like want that domain, they had to pay you for it, and not for $5. You would pay it, sell it for whatever you wanted.
Right.
Now, I was 19 at the time, Randy, so like I didn't have that like ideas like let me just take $1,000 and buy as many domains as I can for $5. Like I actually knew it was a good idea, but I didn't really understand how business worked. You can't just sit on your ass and like do nothing and like I have a good idea, therefore I'm like it's something special. Like no. Just because you see something and have an idea or recognize a trend before it happens, you have to do something, right?
Right.
And the truth is, I don't regret not doing anything, even though I would have made who knows how much money, because I was a kid. I didn't know any better, right? But like now I realize with this, it's like I feel the same way about VidMe. Like there has never been a social media company that combines all the aspects of masterclass and like the ability to it has an affiliate program like this where it can generate income for the average person. It's never existed. It just hasn't.
It hasn't.
Yeah. Every social media content creator we showed this to, even like developers are working with, are like, yeah, this doesn't exist anywhere in the world. Like it just doesn't exist. Like people talk about, oh, you want to be part of a disruptive part of the, you want to be the one that disrupts the industry. That's what VidMe is. It's truly the first disruptive social media platform in the world in the last decade plus.
Right.
And to me, it's like, well, that's the thing I want to be involved in. That's why I was willing to drop everything I was doing with solar. And by the way, there were a lot of people who were not happy with that. And like, maybe rightly so, right? But like, I had to go with like what I believe to be true, which was like this is an opportunity. And like, I don't want to look now, like things like crypto, all of us were like, oh, I thought crypto was going to make, like, yeah, like, I thought crypto might make money or Bitcoin like a decade or 15 years ago, but I didn't feel about it the way I feel about this. That to me was like, well, maybe it makes money because nobody understood. Most people don't understand it now, right? They're like, wait, where does the value come from? Everybody understands the value of social media. Everybody understands that like the value comes from the attention. Like
it's universally known.
Yeah, people have had so much attention in social media, so that's anything that has attention has tremendous value.
Right.
So that makes a lot of sense to people. So like that's why I kind of wanted to close it with Randy is to me, I see this kind of like doing the AI analysis, comparing to other business opportunities that I've been involved in. Like to me, this checks all the boxes. I know Chris, one of the founders, he did this like report where he like, did you know what I'm talking about? We did the analysis of like world trends and stuff like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of like economic trends. And like he compared what VidMe's doing to like all the trends using AI, social media, attention, all this stuff. And it was like check. Like all the top trends in the world, it hits, right? And that's why I just think like, I get it. Like early adopters, like we're early adopters, like early adopters are what it means. It's like these are people that catch the vision a little bit before everyone else. But you also have to like realize these are people who are a little bit more have a little bit more risk tolerance. Even though like for most people who are involved in VidMe, they haven't even put in a penny. So it's like I don't know what the risk is from like a monetary point of view, right? It's not like oh you got to put in millions of bucks. It's like no, you just participate.
Right. Simple.
And like even if it's $35 a month, like that's very, very, very little risk for a business. $35 a month when I was running businesses, that wouldn't pay for like anything I was doing, right? Like my monthly expenses were like, how do you want to say my monthly expenses for like running businesses? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But
my last direct sales business, I had to spend at least about $150 to maximize the profit pool, and I
yeah,
mean, $35 is nothing.
right. And it's not like you're paying 35 plus something else, right?
Exactly. Yep. It's just
Yeah.
$35 done.
Right. So I guess what I'm saying is like there are people who are like, okay, what is something I can get involved in? And for those people, yeah, like I would suggest reach out to Randy if he's coming through his channels, or reach out to me. And if you're a big time content creator, like really, like we'll put you in touch. Like I'll get you on the conference call with the CEO, because it's like that's
Right.
even above our level, right? It's like we'll get the CEO to have a conference call with you, and like maybe have you part of like the curated content like we're doing with like some of these high end content creators. And for the
Yeah.
average person, it's like just reach out to us. But like I get it. Most people are like, well, I need to see more before like they understand it. But that's why we're doing videos like this, to kind of let people know this is coming. This is what's going to be what this is all about. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then one thing I wanted to say too is, we've been talking about, these other platforms that are out there. I mean, yeah, you can go out there and you can go do, these direct sales businesses, and there's plenty of them out there. But there's one VidMe. There's nothing out there like it. There are hundreds of companies that are direct sales. There's one VidMe. There's nothing else out there. We are the only game in town that's doing what we're doing. That is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think for those people like, well, I still don't get the difference. Well, it's like, okay, we'll talk with you. We'll explain to you how this really is vastly different than any of those things that people have done before. And yeah, I think that's it. Well, Randy,
That's it.
I would love
I think
to
that's
do
good.
this again. Like as we get
Absolutely.
closer,
This is awesome.
yeah, particularly like I don't think we emphasize enough. Right now we're in beta, so VidMe's in beta, which for those who don't know what that means, it just means like the platform development is done, right? So now what beta is like testing everything. It's like if I hit play, does the video work? If I turn my phone like this, does the video rotate? Like is the font large enough for me to read, or can I adjust like all those little tiny things which
And when I-
Drive develop? Yeah.
And when I put my credit card and swipe my credit card, does it swipe and does it work?
Does it work? Does it crash the system when like 1,000 or 10,000 people all hit the system in one day? So like these are all things we gotta test. I will say this though. I've been involved with a lot of different techs. Even like I was using Gmail as my like email server for many years, and like it would go down, right? Google would go down and crash, right?
Yeah.
And so like this whole idea, it's like we haven't had a big oopsie like that yet, but like I anticipate in this rollout we're gonna have a couple, maybe a crash or two, some oopsies, maybe a video's upside down, who knows, right? Like
I mean,
I don't
I'm in IT. It happens. I mean, it's the world we live in. I mean, there is gonna be something that happens, and I mean, we're ready for it. So let's do it.
yeah. But that's what beta is. Beta is testing all that stuff out, trying to work out as many bugs as possible. That's also why every 3 months or something on your phone they have a new firmware update, and
Yeah.
it's because these big Apple, Google, they're constantly like finding problems and fixing. Then they do the next big upgrade, right? So like that's the world of tech. So
And speaking of tech, I want to put one plug out there.
yeah.
Android and iOS apps are ready.
Oh, okay. The apps are ready. Yeah, which is cool.
That's awesome.
Which is awesome. Yeah. And for those who don't know, like that's not always the most straightforward process. I think all of us were like, hopefully, like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, Apple doesn't say you got to do this thing, or Android doesn't say, well, you got to change. Like, we didn't really know if those things would get approved and how quickly they would. Like, we did everything, we have great developers, great team, but you always had like, okay, now it's got to go through the approval process. So that was a big deal that those got approved, and I think it was like the first shot. Like, am I wrong on that? Was it the first shot they both got approved?
Yeah, I didn't hear the specifics on that part. I just know that they got approved, but keep in mind, again, pre-launch, it's not out there yet. So don't be
not available.
Don't be browsing the App Store yet. It's not ready. It's not in there yet. That we'll hear more as we progress. So and we'll let you guys know for sure.
So that's also so. As we get closer, we'll give more updates. We'll talk about, more specifics. I think maybe since this time it's been mostly talking, just letting people know like what is exciting us about it. Maybe we can like do some more like screen sharing or something next time, and like kind of go into like some of these other details and stuff. Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah, I'm sure everyone's gonna want to see that.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. All right. Well, thank you very much, Randy. It's been awesome.
This is awesome.
Yeah. All right.
Really had a
Thank
good
you,
time
everybody,
talking to you, Brad.
and thank you for listening.